Good morning guys and girls, and welcome back to another video, and today is a noob's guide for making 200k a week. Let's go! Okay, so you want to make 200k gold per week if you're watching this video. So we're going to start off with basically the easiest way first. So the easiest way of actually producing 200k's worth of gold every week and in a decently consistent manner is by doing Battle for Azeroth material farms. So that would be your gathering farms because they're hourly based and the items don't fluctuate that much afterwards. Obviously they will fluctuate depending on like if they're really new items that have just been introduced, but if it's things like the platinum ore, the monolite ore and the storm silver ore, or all the other herbs like the anchorweed and the winter's kiss and sea stalks and all that jazz, it's not really going to change all that much dramatically per hour. You're kind of looking with certain farms like from anywhere from like 20k per hour to like 40k per hour, depending on what you're doing. By the way, Riverbud is an amazing farm to actually do. Recommended, go do it. But at the end of the day, gathering materials is really one of those ones where you can pretty much guarantee you're going to make a decent amount of gold through this throughout the week. Now, if you did I believe 7 hours worth of 40k farms, you are basically going to make you're going to make your 200k per week. And that is doing an hour a day, every day, consistently, and you would be able to make over 200k's worth of gold. Now, this one is, obviously everything is subject to change because different farms and different values actually come into play with this. But at the end of the day, Ethereal and Dreamleaf and Foxflower still sell pretty damn high. Dreamleaf not so much anymore, but when you go into the old world type things, like back into Cataclysm or things like that, like your titanium ore, if you spend an hour doing that, you're roughly going to get around about 30k per hour to like 40k per hour depending on your realms. Double check your auction hours when you do this one. But if you focused yourself on like whiptail farms, that's like an easy 40k, like right off the bat. Like most of the time, whiptail sells for a hell of a lot. Like it's one of those ones where it's just always needed, always wanted. It mainly the stuff that actually is for the Vial of the Sand. So your Cinderbloom and your Ajara's Veil. Ajara's Veil is probably the highest selling herb I've seen from the old world that still sells for a hell of a lot. Like I think it was like 160 gold per at Ajara's Veil. So just go to Vashir, go through the pain an hour a day. Trust me, it actually gets better. But there's hardly any competition, and you would be able to farm up a decent amount of gold, like around about. Well, that's an easy 40k per hour. So you're really looking for gathering professions that actually farms that actually net you in around about 30 to 40k per hour, and doing like an hour's farm every single day for gathering. That being the case, guys, the second one on our list is like things like not necessarily gathering professions, but gathering in general. You could farm up the volatile water, volatile fire, and volatile life. By the way, volatile life comes into play with the old whiptail farms and all that jazz, so you don't really need to worry about that. But at the end of the day, focusing on the volatile water is still a profitable one in order to do. Along with that, your primal fires and primal airs actually still go for a lot. If you are able to farm up a variety of these and make a load of primal mites sell on the auction house pretty fast as well. But obviously, if you sold the primal fires and all that jazz, they sell for a lot faster. Just go over to the Throne of Kil'jaeden in Hellfire Peninsula. just kill all the mobs through there and you'd be able to farm up a load of primal fire. Like those types of materials as well, they will actually sell for quite a lot as well. So pretty much this is just gathering in general. So now let's move on to professions. Now the professions I recommend is either engineering, jewel crafting or alchemy. These ones are usually the bog standard for making around about 200k per week, and this one we're going to focus on mounts first of all. So mounts are relatively easy to actually farm up. You just need to either use your TSM crafting in order to buy all the mats off the auction house, or if your realm is really low pop and it doesn't have a high supply of these types of materials, you can also gather up all of the materials as well, which takes you a little less time than doing 7 hours a week. You could do it in about 5 hours per week or 4 hours depending on what is available on your auction house and what is available in your realm, but you'd still make more profit just gathering all of the materials up flat off the bat and then crafting them into the items. So for engineering, you're going to be wanting to focus on the mechanized chopper, and that is by far the cheapest investment of gold, which is 12,500 gold, raw gold investment in order to make it without the actual materials. Your next one that you would want to farm, focus on, is the Panther Mounts. They sell relatively fast as well, and this one is not just catered to the Alliance because, yeah, and that costs 20,000 gold investment or 18,000, I believe, if your rep is exalted, I believe, with the Golden Lotus, I think. And that one would be, so you'd be investing that flat raw gold in order to obtain or invest into those mounts. Now, judging by this, the last one that you would want to focus on is the alchemy one, and that is the Vial of Sands. I am considering doing a guide on how to get hold of the recipe for Vial of Sands because I've had it for years and I've got it on like 3 of my alchemists, so I'm pretty damn good at knowing how to get hold of it relatively fast without being too cocky. But the Vial of Sands is definitely one of those ones where most people will buy it, and because it's just a relatively useful mount to actually have. And this one ranges in around about 200,000 to 180,000 gold per mount. Obviously it does go higher on other realms, but the average is around about that area of 180 to 200. So that's your easy 200k. Obviously you have to invest around about 29,000 gold raw investment, so you would need to sell that and a couple of Panther Mounts or a mechanized chopper in order to actually return the investment on those mounts. Now, mount crafting doesn't actually take that long, it's relatively lazy. That's why I do it. I prefer doing mount crafting because it is so less time consuming for me, so I can actually enjoy my games and just play around with stuff because I do other things than just gold farming all the time. I'm usually leveling a character because I'm a bit of an alcoholic. But that being the case, we're going to get into other parts of the crafting, and that would be flasks, potions, like leatherworking with your goblin gliders. They're still in use. You're going to want to do the updated things, but mainly in order to actually gain lots more actual gold in the long run, you would want to do cooking. Cooking is an amazing tool in order to get yourself to that 200k per week. Personally, I'm currently gaining around about 200-ish gold just with cooking and alchemy alone. Those two combined is actually netting me in a lot of gold at the moment, mainly because of all deer and everything. But that being the case, really easy to do. So if I really had to state what would be one of the best ones to go for, is probably cooking, because most people are kind of lazy with it, but thanks to the new revamps with the Colteran cooking, to the actual cooking profession in general and all other professions, They've been segmented, so it's really easy to get that Coltaran up to, I believe it's the 150, the 150 skill on Coltaran cooking, so you'd be able to create the feast really easily, get your rank 3, just make a bulk load of those and just keep selling them, even farm up the materials in order to actually do it. But I recommend investing in actually leveling up, and then you'll see a return on your investment. You can make the lower buff food, which actually does sell quite fast. It actually sells faster than the feasts for some reason, for me at the moment. Don't know about you guys if you do use cooking, but personally, rather easy. But that being the case, your last one on our list to actually talk about is fishing. If you want to be lazy like me, fishing, just stick on Netflix, sit there and just fish. Fish the current content stuff. You don't have to fight anything, you don't have to pretty much do anything, just click a bobber every between 10 seconds of a timer, and then just recast. I've got it all macroed to my mouse, and basically it's one of those ones where it's like the most easiest, laziest, but really profitable ways of actually making gold. Now, personally, I prefer doing it in Voldoon. Double check which types of fish actually sell and then go to those specific areas. I believe that the slimy mackerel is still going for quite a lot, so just literally just stay in Borealis and just fish is a good way of actually just making gold, just sat there fishing for hours on end. You just have to go onto your Netflix account, set up your second monitor screen, like what I do, and then pretty much just sit there and watch Netflix with like an earbud in, waiting for the bobber splash, and then you just click recast and that. So you can set yourself up with your macros, so you can just do it with your mouse and that's it. And after a movie you've just watched, or a binge watch of Futurama or something, I love Futurama by the way, you'd be able to make 10 times freaking gold. So that being the case, what is the best way of actually making 200 gold per week? No, 200,000 gold per week. I messed up there. And I personally would say mounts, because I'm quite well adept with it. So it depends if you want to be lazy or you want to actually do something, so you want to actually accomplish it. If you're lazy, craft mounts and do your professions and do that. I would say mounts is probably the midliner on this list. If you want to do some form of crafting to actually heed a higher return, then do mounts. If you're lazy but you don't really care if you hit 200k consistently, and if you hit 150 per week or something, then focus on your engineering, dual crafting and alchemy all at the same time. That would be a great way of doing it. Or you can focus on the most time extensive one, which is an hour a day, 30 or 40k farms, which is easy to come by, and just farm up either current content or cataclysm content, herbs and minerals, and you'd be able to definitely hit that 200k. The one that I would say is the best for making a consistent 200k is either herb or mining an hour every day, which isn't a lot to be honest, or creating mounts. They are the best ways, but remember you would have to make a gold investment to do mounts, but obviously if you're just starting out, because this is a noob's guide in order to actually make 200k per week, go with gathering when you start off the bat. Once you've got enough gold to invest, move into mounts, and then move into your your alchemy and all that jazz with making buff food and everything, so you have gold to waste, or not gold to waste, more invest in order to actually bring back that gold and be able to see the return on your investments. So that being the case, guys, all in all, I hope that you like this video on how to actually make 200k gold per week. I've been really wanting to do this. I've got loads of other videos planned, And that being the case, I hope you guys have a lovely rest of the week. Now, I hope you liked this video, and if you want to see more like this, please feel free to give this video a like, and as always, have an awesome day, guys.
Yeah.